So you guys know that thinking about sound waves here, when you think about the frequency and the vibration of a sound wave, you can think about what that looks like. And you know that each sound wave produces its own individual note and tone, right? That only this certain sound wave is going to produce this tone. It's not going to produce another tone. It's the only tone that it can produce. So this is similar to habitual mental and emotional thought forms. They produce their own vibrational frequency in consciousness, and these in turn produce the outer conditions in which that consciousness resides. So the higher the frequencies of vibration of consciousness, the higher they are, the more beautiful and harmonious will the lives of those people be. Whereas those who are living, thinking through the lower frequencies, the more harsh and bitter and miserable will be the lives of those who resonate in those frequencies, because they are the farthest away from divine consciousness, from that perfect state of equilibrium that you are, essentially. So what does this mean? We think thousands and thousands of thoughts throughout a day. Thousands. And some of our thoughts are high vibe, some of our thoughts are low vibe, some of them feel really great, and some of them don't feel so great. Now, you also know that you were given free will to choose, right? This is your choice. What is free will? It is literally having control of your consciousness. That is your free will. You have a choice. So the decisions that you make day after day are not the things that you're deciding what you're going to do, right? I mean, they are, but that's not really what you're using your free will for. But perhaps that's all that you've thought that you were using your free will for. But what you can be using it for is decisions and choosing what it is that you want to habitually think about. So if you have some negative thought, think about it right now. What is the negative thought that you have that is continually popping up? So is it something that is fear-based? More than likely, right? Because we have fear and love, and when we're not operating out of love, we will be operating out of fear. So that's how I'm going to use this example. What is something that you habitually think about that is fear-based? So an example of that would be like, I'm not good enough, or I'm not worthy or deserving, or I'm a failure, I fail at things, something along those lines. All fear-based things, right? And the fear underlying all of those things, because it underlines everything, is the fear that I'm not lovable, right? Because we carry these things and these failures and these things that we've done, or this guilt, or this whatever it happens to be, and because of those things, we then believe that we're not lovable, and then all these other beliefs roll in too that complement the belief that we're not lovable. And so when we habitually think about things like that, when we have those thoughts pop into our head regularly, several things are happening. We're lowering our frequency, just like that note, right? There's a vibration that comes out, like this is science, right? We can see this. There's a vibration and it makes a tone. Ding. Now, same as what you're sending out. You are sending out a vibration, just like you're a musical instrument, and it is creating what you get back. It's what you're sending out is what you're going to get back. So think about this. If you have a choice here. Okay, so just imagine we got a chart. At the top of the chart it says love, at the bottom of the chart it says fear, and then there's all that space in the middle. Now about halfway through is when you start, feeding more of the love if you're moving up, and start feeding more of the negative, the fear, if you're moving down. So if you were halfway up, you're moving towards one, but you're not there yet. You're moving towards one, but you're not there yet. Now, what are you feeding? So let's just say, for example, that the love is heavenly energy and the fear is hellish energy. Are you feeding the heaven or are you feeding the hell? What are you giving your energy to? If you were feeding the machine, which you kind of are, because we're in the world and the world goes with the collective consciousness. Did you guys know I wrote a book? There's stuff about that. I wrote that in 2018. You can find it on Amazon for like a few dollars. It's called The Way to Peace by Michelle Sinclair. You can go look it up. There's more details about that. It's a real short read, easy to read. But we operate on the collective consciousness. So we are essentially feeding the machine. Are you feeding the beast or are you feeding heaven on earth? Because my ultimate goal is to only feed heaven on earth and to teach other people about it so that they can do the same, so that we can have a collective awakening. If you're listening, you're already on the path. You want to do it. You're doing it. And you might not know how, but you're working towards it. So, what happens when your note, when your vibration that you're going out is manifesting in the lower half of that chart, is you are therefore creating the resonance of hell, right? Because it's not the heavenly one. You're feeding the beast. When you allow through your free will, when you are choosing through that free will that you have, whatever it is that you're thinking about, that you're habitually allowing yourself to think about, you're feeding the beast when it is on the low part of the chart. Now, you're not doing this on purpose. You don't want to be doing that. You don't want to feel like hell, because you do every time that you think about it, don't you? It makes you feel like hell, and you're feeding it. And this is a free will choice. And it doesn't feel like you're choosing it, right? Because you're thinking, well, I got this problem. I'm stuck in this chaos and this confusion, and so I got to think this way, and I got to... You do not. You do not. You do not. It is a choice. And I know it does not feel like it. And I know that we also go through different seasons of our life. And if you were going through a winter season right now, I'm sorry. I know it's sucky. I've been there. But you know what? Spring comes. And spring's just beautiful. And it comes right after the winter. And sometimes we just need to rest so we can get to spring. But what happens if we habitually get up in the morning and we just choose to think good thoughts about other people? And we just choose to see the beautiful things. So next time on your way to work, whether you're riding your bike, you're walking, or you're driving, or maybe you work in your house and you don't get to, so then you should just go outside for a minute. But next time when you're on your way to work, or you're on your way anywhere, actually choose to look at everything that you see out your window and see the beauty that's in it. Like, oh, that house is a really pretty color. I never noticed that they painted it. Oh, well, look at those nice flowers over there. Well, that's really nice. Oh, well, that tree looks real nice. And to actually focus on that, and then by the time that you get to work, notice how you feel. This is your free will. You get to choose. I'm not forcing you to do nothing. Through your own free will, you can choose to do something that's going to be creating heaven on earth and sending out those high intentional vibrational frequencies. It's intentional. Because just as those negative thoughts are addicting, so are the positive ones. They say, oh, these neural pathways in your brain, we got such deep grooves, it's so used to doing this bad habit. Well, you know what? You can do the same thing with the good habit. And it's all what you feed. It's all what you focus on. And I know everybody says that. It's almost like those words feed and focus on and whatever is cliche. It's not. It's truly. So let's imagine here you got a piece of paper in front of you. Just pretend you got a piece of paper in front of you and pretend you got a pen. You don't, but just pretend you do. Now, if you were to just write what percent of your day, 1%, whatever very first comes into your mind, what percent of your day are you living in heaven? Okay, write it down with your imaginary pen. What percent? Okay, so then that means that whatever percent is not on that imaginary paper that you have right there is hell. Now, I know people go through things. I've been through things. I've been through it, the chaos, the destruction. And how do you not recreate this again in the future if that is what you're going through? And if you're in the high vibe, let's keep it forever. Let's keep it forever. It's ours. Heaven on earth. But if you're in that low vibe, what you don't want to be doing is creating more of this. Because whatever it is that you're sending out is going to come back to you again at some point in the future. You don't want this, right? Do you like this confusion that you're stuck in? Oh, it's horrible, isn't it? It's horrible, isn't it? So when you're sending out confusion, you're going to get even more, even more, even more. I know. And it keeps you stuck, and it sucks, doesn't it? How do we get out of it? First of all, remove yourself completely. Remove yourself. If there's a situation that you are confused about, remove yourself and go and do something completely different, maybe that you've never even done before. Leave the country. Go and do something. Go away and be away for a while. Reset. Because when you do the same thing over and over and you wake up and then you go do this and then you do this and then you go do that, well, that confusion is part of that routine, isn't it? So you need to break up that routine and do something completely different, that confusion is not part of that routine. That's step number 1. Step number 2, meditate. Do you meditate? Come on, you gotta start. It's a thing. You think you can't meditate? You absolutely can. Your mind doesn't want to go blank? Who cares? Doesn't need to. You'll get there. But what you do when you meditate is just look up a guided one on YouTube, guided meditation, and just start doing it, because what it is doing, it's relaxing your nervous system. It's allowing for all of that ego thought that's constantly there, constantly there, to go away. When it's a guided meditation, when you're starting out, that's the best way to meditate, I would say, something guided, because why? You're focused on that, right? And a meditation is always going to be high vibe. So that time that you're taking, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever it is, doesn't matter, you are taking that time and you are intentionally putting good vibes out, the vibrations. And so they're gonna come back to you, because everything you put out comes back to you. This is the karmic cycle. It is inescapable. What you do to others, you will reap what you've sown. And when it comes back and you're like, oh, I don't like it, I don't like this, and you'll completely forget that you did it to somebody else. Or you feared it, or you desired it. But it will come back. So when you take the time to meditate, what it is that you're doing is you were taking the time for yourself. You're investing in yourself, just like you are right now. If you're listening to this, you're investing in yourself, doing something that is going to bring goodness to you. And as you do that and you meditate, you're lifting up your vibe. But what you're doing is you're stepping out of that chaos temporarily, right? You're giving that yourself a break from it. And just taking the break from it sometimes is all that you need to get clarity. But let me tell you this, if you're in confusion along with chaos, it's no good. And how you get out of it is by following your heart and really stepping out of the situation and just listening to your heart. What do I actually want? What do I actually want? Ask yourself that. What do I actually want? And if you don't know, then you need to figure that out. And the best way to figure it out is to figure out what you don't want. You'll be like, yeah, I don't want that. Well, there we go. Check it off the list. We know what we don't want. So what do we want? The opposite of that. There we go. Now we know what we want. So, to keep the vibes high, you must be aware that you are constantly manifesting, like every single second you are right now as you're listening to me. So throughout a day, when you notice that you're having a hellish thought come to you, you can just stop it. You can just choose to not allow it, and you can switch it to something else. And now at first it might feel awkward, and it might feel like work. Like it might feel, because anything that you're doing when you're starting out, you have to practice it. It's like, okay, well, I want to be a marathon runner. Okay, well, you can't just go out tomorrow and run a marathon if you haven't been practicing, right? It's not going to happen. It takes time. Like if somebody's training for a marathon, I mean, I've had many friends do it. You're putting in the hours. You are practicing. This is the same, right? Because you've been letting your brain run all willy-nilly your whole life, not giving it any mind, not paying any attention to the fact that these thoughts that you're putting out are actually coming back to harm you and causing a karmic cycle damage perhaps in your life. So when you start to train your brain and you want it to do something different and you want to gain control of your mind, it takes practice, right? Just like every single thing that you've ever learned to do in your whole life, it took practice to get there. You didn't do it the first time and be like, well, I guess I'm a genius about this because I can write my name and I didn't even practice it one time. Probably not, maybe. I don't know. Was your name Bob? Could have happened. But you know what I'm saying. You have to practice every single thing that you're doing to get good at it. So if you suck at it right now, good. Who cares? You'll get better at it, but you won't if you don't practice it, because practice makes perfect. So if you want to start listening to a guided meditation, this is going to do many beneficial things for you. First of all, once you get good at that, just sitting and being able to listen to it and being able to do that, then you can start to do this on your own and you can start to let go of your thoughts. So we can do that right here, right now, unless you happen to be driving or something along those lines. Don't do it. If you are in a safe space right now, I will count you down and I'm going to show you exactly how you can meditate, and we're going to clear space here out of your mind. We're going to clear it out, and you're just going to sit in the peace that comes. Okay, let's do it. So you're just going to start by closing your eyes and focusing on your breathing. So nice deep breaths in and out. Now, breathing can have a lot to do with meditating and getting yourself into state really quickly. So now, as you think about your breathing, I want you to breathe in nice full breaths as if your lungs extended all the way into the top part of your legs. And so breathing all the way in, the full nice deep breath, and then on the way out, exhaling about half the speed of your inhale, or maybe even slower, but whatever is comfortable. A very slow, calm, comfortable exhale, and just breathe like this a couple of times. Now you're going to notice with that kind of breathing that you calm down very, very quickly. Yeah, and as you calm down really quickly, I'm now just going to count down from 10 to 1. So I want you to just imagine each of the numbers that I'm saying and then just let them float away and disappear. Okay, so just the number 10, and whether it's a 1 and a 0, or whether you see the number 10, T-E-N, written out, or whether it appears to you in some other way, it really doesn't matter. Just let that number float and drift away, and now think about that number 9. And then just let that number just disappear, and then bring on the number 8. And as you let that number go, let's bring in the number 7. And every number that comes in, you just feel calmer and calmer. And so let the number 6 go, or 7 go away, and now we got the number 6. And let it float off and away, and number 5. And relaxing down even deeper with the number 4. And so calm and peaceful, seeing the number 3. Relaxing down deeply now with the number 2. And let it all go down on the number 1. Comfortable and relaxed. Excellent. And as you get even more relaxed and comfortable, now I want you to imagine here that you're on a very beautiful beach. And there's water just right there. A nice, beautiful sky and a tiny breeze in the air that just feels so nice. And as you're there on the beach, it's as if you can breathe in the air, that nice, fresh air that's all around you, and it's so calming and peaceful just being there. And it's just so lovely and pretty and beautiful. All your surroundings and the environment are just so wonderful. And then for a moment, as you're there, I want you to just imagine that as you let go of everything here that's in this scene in a moment, I want you to imagine that it just all fades to dark and the stars come out and it's just a black as night sky with those stars peeking through. But very quickly you close your eyes in that place and it becomes all black, all dark. And even though you're all alone, you don't feel lonely. It doesn't feel like you're alone. And in fact, it's as if you drift off to sleep and everything that ever exists just fades away. And it's as if you're just floating in this space that's as black as night. Nothing there but calm and peace and you. And it's so comforting and tranquil just being in this relaxed, calm, deep space. And as you breathe in all that peaceful calm that's all around you, you can see there's this really beautiful white light. It's divine, it's pure love. And that beautiful, divine, pure love light, it just comes right over and floats right into the middle of you, right into your heart space. And it begins to light you up. And it begins to flood your body with that warm feeling of love, care. And you truly do feel cared for, and you truly do feel loved. And as you sit in that pure love energy, it's so wonderfully good. And you could even imagine this pure love energy just permeating your life in every area. It's there when you wake up. It's there when you go to sleep. It's there all day long and in everything you do. And it's so calm and it's so peaceful. It's such a wonderful, peaceful gift that you give to yourself. And then you're just going to put a little smile on those lips. And you're just going to bat open those beautiful eyes. Bring yourself all the way back. And it's as easy peasy as that. Put yourself in that beautiful, calm state. And as you put yourself in this wonderful, calm, relaxing state, know that these vibes that you're putting out right now are going to bring you back some peace and some calm in your life, and it's going to be just wonderfully good. And I love you all so much, and I thank you for tuning in here today. Hope you enjoyed it. And if y'all have any questions, any areas of like, hey, I'm having an issue with this, I'm having an issue with that, just comment down below and I will do a teaching about it. I love you guys. Take care. All right, my darlings, you have a good night, and I'll see you tomorrow.